In the last four parts, we talked of Indian behavioral scientists and Indian behavioral science contributions to change at individual level, dyadic level, team level, inter-team level, agency level, and community level. I have indicated that Indian behavioral scientists in the last 50 to 60 years in India have done a great deal to bring change at individual level while helping people to recognize their own talent using a variety of psychometric tests and other kind of interventions. Coaching is a very common kind of a practice to help individuals discover in the Johari window the part that is known to them but not known to others, so that they can disseminate and make others know what talent they have. And the part that is known to others but not known to them, so that they can discover the blind spots and work on them. And also the part that is known to them as well as others, so that they can use the public strengths for the benefit of the larger society. And of course, the psychologists have also helped to discover the less known part of it, which is the dark arena, through using psychometric tests like the thematic perception test and so on, and also providing personal effectiveness tools to help people to undertake new activities and so on. So the contributions have been at individual level and at the level at which people have created new roles. So developing the role, developing also individual in relation to the role, and developing superior subordinate or colleague or customer interface and things like that. So interpersonal competence, and also developing teams and inter-team collaboration, and also developing organizations and communities. The organizations that the behavioral scientists worked with range from government to semi-government organizations, public sector corporations, private sector, multinationals, not-for-profit organizations, spiritual and religious kind of organizations, not-for-profit NGOs and the facilitators of NGOs, education institutes, and a variety of other institutions. They worked in the field of agriculture, worked in the field of education, worked in the field of health, worked in the field of government systems, information technology, pharmaceutical industry, and you name the industry, I think the behavioral scientists in India have worked. In this concluding part, I would like to outline 10 different dimensions that make any behavioral scientist contribute. There are 10 different ways. There may be many more, but I have identified 10 effective ways of contributing to change at individual level, dyadic level, team level, organizational level, and so on. These 10 different ways can be used by any of you who are interested. Use this as a checklist. I would like to define a behavioral scientist as one who is professionally prepared to practice behavioral sciences. Now, this includes those who do their masters and sometimes maybe bachelors from good institutions, or doctorates in psychology, sociology, anthropology, education, social work, and allied kind of disciplines, including management, human resources, and so on and so forth. There can be many other new disciplines. There were cases where people from pure science background, like a master's in physics, master's in chemistry, etc., when they reach the level of a doctor of philosophy, or even after teaching for some time, I think taken to behavioral sciences by going through the professional development programs of societies like the Indian Applied Behavioral Sciences, or SUMEDAS, or ISISD, or NTL, or allied kind of organizations. There are also people who have specialized without much of a background in Thomas profiling, or in 16 personality factor inventory, or 5OB, or MBTI, and things like that. I think these can also be called as specialist behavioral scientists, although they may not have had a master's in psychology, sociology, and things of that kind. So I would like to broadly define a behavioral scientist as one who is a professionally prepared behavioral scientist and applies his or her knowledge to bring change in individuals, teams, dyads, organizations, communities, and make them more effective. I think this is a very important thing. The purpose of change is to make them more effective and make them more impactful. Now, if you are a behavioral scientist, there are, as I mentioned earlier, one is when you teach students. You can join an educational institute or a training institute or a training center or a HRD institute, whatever you may call it, and directly start teaching other students who are appearing for their degrees, diplomas, certificate courses, and so on. This is number one. So, if you are a teacher training students and preparing students in HR or in OB or in behavioral science related professions, you are doing an important activity. You are bringing in change because you are educating these people. Second important dimension on which the behavioral scientist can make a difference or contribute is by guiding research. You can guide research of other people. You can guide PhD students. You can guide master's dissertation or anyone who is interested in research. You are a guide. You yourself may not directly do research, but you are guiding other people who are doing research. For example, when I was a student of Osmania University, when I was doing my master's, Somnath Chattopadhyaya, who was with the SIT Institute, was my guide. He was, of course, conducting training in his own institute. I had an internal guide from the university, and he was the external guide, and he had contributed enormously to my own development. The third important dimension by which a behavioral scientist can contribute is by developing professionals to be behavioral scientists. I would say by contributing directly to what organizations like ISAPS calls as PDPs, professional development programs, where you design an internship program, you design a certificate program, and you contribute to the development of professionals. A fourth dimension on which a behavioral scientist can contribute is by directly teaching in the executive development programs, management development programs, or worker development programs, or any program that are meant to develop any set of people. You directly teach. A person who, for example, conducts a program on Jivan Yatra for workmen of an organization by taking them in groups out and getting them to examine the kind of roles they are playing in their life, the way they are behaving as parents, the way they are citizens of the corporation or members of the society, and things of that kind, and help them to reflect about it, is actually teaching behavioral sciences to a group of workmen. There are many people who teach for supervisors, supervisory development, managerial development, leadership development, whatever may be the level at which you are teaching. By teaching or participating in executive development or management development programs or worker development programs, you are contributing to the dissemination of behavioral sciences. You are bringing change in these people. When you conduct original research, this is the fifth dimension by which you can you can contribute to as a behavioral scientist. When you do original research, many of the behavioral scientists of the olden days have done excellent original research. For example, Prayag Mehta demonstrated by developing achievement motivation in school teachers and school boys, their actual academic accomplishments can be enhanced. Similarly, McClellan demonstrated by uh, giving a week's achievement motivation training, which involved reflection about self and developing an achievement motivation language, more entrepreneurs can be developed. A similar research study conducted in Gujarat indicated that behavioral science training made a difference of at least 17% more of entrepreneurial movements. In a study of teachers and their impact on students, we demonstrated in an ICMR project held at the National Institute of Health Administration that teacher behavior can be changed by giving feedback in the classrooms and so on. So you will find innumerable number of examples where people have done their research. Doctoral students like Rajan Gupta, Ma Jain, Naga Brahmam, and a number of others have done wonderful research work which again demonstrated various facets of behavioral sciences. So you can undertake original research and contribute to the development of behavioral sciences. The sixth dimension of contribution to behavioral sciences is developing your own theories, developing your own concepts. Uday Parikh is known for his concept of extension motivation, a paradigm for social development. I think is a wonderful thing that he has published. He is also known for his work on picture frustration test. Uday Parikh also is known for his work on role efficacy and related things. So these were all original contributions of Dr. Uday Parikh. Prag Mehta formulated development motivation to explain the effectiveness of government servants and so on. Manohar Nadkarni talked of joyful organization. Francis Benegis worked on dreams and bringing about change in scientists using dream analysis and things like that. These were just to mention a few of the original contributions, like the nurture and task leader of J.P.P. Sinha, the role effectiveness technique of Ishwar Dayal, and so on and so forth. I think there are many original contributions that have come from Indian behavioral scientists. The seventh dimension of contributing to as a behavioral scientist is by writing books. Most of the famous behavioral scientists in India have written dozens and dozens of books, and these books are available, plenty of them. All that you need to do is to go to Flipkart or go to Amazon.in and then type their name, you will get many of these. I think books are great contributions that can be left behind. A book is there forever to influence the thoughts of people. So when you write books, you are leaving a lot of legacy for other people. Eighth dimension of impacting the society is by writing short papers in magazines and newspapers, attending conferences and addressing some of these conferences as a keynote speaker, as an ordinary speaker, and sharing your ideas and things of that kind. This also has an enormous impact. In fact, in recent past, I've been finding myself doing only a lot of work on addressing conferences and seminars and so on. A ninth way you can impact the life as a behavioral scientist by actually undertaking consulting projects, organization development projects, diagnostic projects, or any interventions you undertake to bring about change in organizations is a very potential way. In fact, I think most Indian behavioral scientists have done enormous work in many sectors as HR, OD, OB consultants by coaching people at individual level, by giving survey feedback, by conducting outward bound or transaction analysis, and a whole lot of other kind of programs, and offering consultancy services, diagnostic feedback, and so on. The last way, I think, a very significant way in which you can contribute as a behavior scientist is by building institutions. Those who built ISAP, those who have built, I think, National HRD Network or the Academy of HRD, NIPM, ISTD, and Sumedas, all these organizations have enormously contributed to facilitator development. Not only that, but when you had an institution, like when you are heading an institution like IIM, Ahmedabad, Calcutta, Bangalore, or TAPME, or any institute or Sadhana Center for Leadership, or and so on and so forth, XLRI, you are also creating environment for people to learn from you. So as a head of an institution, when you manage an institution or when you develop an institution, as an institution builder, both by your behavior, disseminating a whole lot of things and sharing your experiences, you are also contributing to the society and so on. Thus, friends, there are these 10 different ways. There can be many other kind of ways. And if you are interested in knowing how effective a behavioral scientist you are, simply pick up each one of these and rate yourself on a 10-point scale. I think it may be a good idea to review your effectiveness using some of your colleagues and asking them to rate you on these 10 dimensions. All the best. Be a great behavioral scientist and bring pride to yourself, to your organization, and to the nation.